Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again for what is the second video in the little shaper series that I'm doing. In this video, I'm going to set up the shaper, or show you how to set up the shaper to put a bullnose on some stair treads. Pretty basic stuff, but if you're new to the shaper, or perhaps you haven't had any formal training, this is maybe a good video to watch and you can learn some basic things. I'll probably try to start with some pretty simple setups, and then in future videos look at how to do some more complex things on the shaper. So if this is something that interests you, please remember to hit like and subscribe so that you don't miss any of these videos. With that said, let's get into it. You do want to be a little careful. These cutters are quite sharp. So with this head, it doesn't really matter which way around you have it, as long as you put the limiters in the same side and the cutters in the same side. So I'll put the limiters in like this, and cutters in like so. Gib in and tighten that down. Just remember to go back and make sure that both are actually tight. So you can see here, the cutter here, and that's the way it's going to go. It's spinning anti-clockwise, and we'll set it up right down low on the shaft. I'll leave one spacer under there. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. Just make sure that all your spacers and your cutter itself is nice and clean. There's no debris or anything. And here you want this top spacer going on so that let me just grab a different one. So with this spacer, for instance, it's going to be tight there. No, that actually works. But for instance, this one, where it's flush, or if it were just a fraction above it, where that goes down, you could tighten this down and this will be loose. Right, and that's something you definitely need to be super careful of, because if you turn the machine on and the head is not tight on the spindle, you could create so much friction that it'll weld the head to the shaft, and then you're in for a new shaft, or spindle, sorry, which would be rather expensive. So this head, this spacer is about perfect. I'm just going to tighten that down like that. Pop those cutters to the side and those spacers. Open the machine up so that I can, okay, that's not going to work. It's actually so this, I'm going to have to take this ring out and run it without it. So we've actually got quite the gap here in the table. You know, obviously with the fence right up, it's going to seem a bit smaller, but it is still quite big. However, if I bring this table up, because these treads are so big, there's really no chance that it's going to tip in to the gap in the table. So I feel totally comfortable operating it as is. So I like to use this nice little what is it, 1/16 thick perhaps piece of aluminum, which I find perfect for setting up the shaper with. Make sure too that you've got your fences locked in here so that they're nice and straight this way, before you sort of go too far setting up. You probably find that it'll change when you tighten these up. So basically that's just catching it. I'm going to come back a fraction, but I want this cutter just sort of so I can hear that, but it's not moving the piece of aluminum. So I'm going to tighten that down there. And again, I'll just check that before I... Perfect. Okay, so I've now got the outfeed side of the fence lined up with the smallest part of the cutting circle here. And that way, as I bring this through, it's going to basically line up exactly with the outfeed fence and without any snipe at the end of the cut. So let's make sure everything's tight. That should be good. We just need to do one more thing, and that is set the height of the cutters. So for this, rather than using the power feeder, I'm actually going to just set it up with all the standard guarding. You know, the pieces are so big that I'm running through it. Unless I had a bunch to do, which I don't. It's not that important to set it up. I can keep my hands well away from the cutters, and so be totally safe operating the equipment. And I'm not going to become fatigued or anything in doing so. What I will do before I do set this stuff up is just run a little bit. These are a little long, so I can make any slight adjustments to the height. So I'll just sort of get the full cut on it, and then I'll stop or bring it back and just check the height of the cut and make sure that we're right, and we'll go from there. We're a little low, I'm going to say, maybe a little up. 4.8, 4.7. So quickly just set this up. All right. So this one is the one that holds the material down. This is what holds it in or just guards the rest of the machine. So these will simply go like this. So this one's going to go down onto the material, just a little bit of pressure just to make sure that it stays down. That's clear of the cutters. We're far enough away with these big pieces of stair tread that you know, my hands are not going to be anywhere near the cutters, and you know, it's a nice big piece. I should be able to feed it through nice and smoothly. So there you have it. Nice and simple, but classic really for a stair tread. So